Okay, this video is about how to use social listening, which if you don't know what social listening is, it's basically looking on social media for people that are talking about potentially wanting your product or service. How to use the information, in other words, from social media to power a PPC campaign, given this is a channel all about PPC, in order to get the people that really want to buy from you in real time as they're asking for it already in your market. So, respectively, to give you a quick overview of what this is, there are certain tools out there where you can, if you're running, you have a really big market, there's a lot of people buying in your market, you have just a small sliver, whatever. There's tools like mention.com out there, which you type in a few keywords that you want to monitor people saying, and then it'll alert you when the people say it in real time. And then the idea is, for most people out there, they'll respond and say, hey, I know you said that you were looking for somebody to build you a website. We actually do that, and then that's a way for some people to generate leads. What I'm telling you here is specifically that person who is looking for a website, you can use that to power an ad campaign, basically having ads shown at that same person, because a lot of times it's not a really good situation to be. When somebody's asking for help, they're usually asking for their friends, sometimes the extended network, yes, true. But to go in there as the company yourself, it's a little hard to come out as authentic. Of course, some people out there have a second account to respond and make it look like you're an average person and all that. But if I don't know you, your advice isn't going to be as good. What's more powerful is to actually have an ad that could be pointed at that person. Once they're asking for that kind of thing in real time, that can show up for them again and again until ultimately, hypothetically, they do make a purchase. And well, when something is repeated or shown to you a few times, it really sinks into your mind better. And so as far as PPC campaigns go, this is as targeted as it gets. Somebody's telling you actively that they're going to buy. Basically it's just like running a search engine advertising campaign where people are looking to buy there, of course, and can take whatever you're doing if you are running a search engine advertising campaign on Google or whatnot, where people are looking to buy your products or services in real time like that. This is a way to get the same kind of lead quality outside and using social media itself. And otherwise, if you can't get social media to ads to work because it's for whatever reason, mainly with social media, your targeting's way too wide. Your customers are in there somewhere, but it costs so much money targeting all the people who don't want your product or service that the cost per lead or cost per sale is too high and it's not profitable. Whereas targeting people that you know for sure are going to buy, that's just as good basically as targeting people on Google search. Given though that you still have to come with a decent approach when they're not looking to buy right that instant, but they are looking to buy. To get someone's attention through using an ad, you usually have to offer them a freebie, a giveaway, which we're going to get into in this video. Okay, so I will give you a few examples of where this has actually been done before, what the results have been on different clients that we've worked with, how we put those ad campaigns together. I'll also explain how this is physically, logistically done. How do you actually target a social media user in real time like that, to where if somebody says something, you can find them, pinpoint who they are, and then immediately start targeting them with an ad campaign. I'm going to go through all that in this video so that you have a turnkey way to be able to have another way for you to use PPC and online advertising to generate more profitable customers for you, given it won't generally be something that can scale for you, but still can be a profitable avenue for you to be able to make money with PPC in addition to what you're doing. And for me, and what I've mentioned many times on this channel before, great PPC fortunes are made not by doing one thing that scales really well, which is if you, in a roundabout way, what some people will say they're doing, generally speaking, what is done, even if you're just talking about Google search, you're doing a lot of, you're breaking down all the ways that people are searching on Google search, and you're targeting with individual funnels. One keyword has a special landing page that it goes to, another keyword has another landing page. And if it were as easy as setting up one ad and then scaling to $1 million a month in ad spend and become a multi-millionaire, it would already be done in your market. Where a good chunk of the fortunes are made in PPC is sub-segmenting the available opportunities out there so that you can come with a more customized approach. You can't scale any one opportunity like that, but what you can do is you can get it to work, and because you're more relevant to that sub-segment of the market, it works, it gets a return for sure, and then you just work on layering on more and more traffic streams like that, and you build up a portfolio of different traffic coming in, all of which is going to work because you did something more than what the competition is willing to do to speak to those users on a more individual one-on-one basis. And this is what this is about too. It'll be one additional stream that you have, but you'll need additional streams to be able to scale to, where you're doing many, many millions per year in sales off of PPC, built and, you'll be able to do that one step at a time, this being one, step in the process. So there is a way to find people who are almost just about ready to make a purchase in your niche or business by listening on Twitter and or Facebook for people who tell you this very thing in real time. So obviously many people use Twitter, but in some markets it's relevant. Whether it's Facebook or Twitter, as you know, a big part of what people use social media for, you've seen it yourself if you've been on social media at any given time, for any amount of time, that people ask their friends, like I just mentioned at the start of this video, advice about what to buy, what to choose, or they're bragging that, of course they bought something, but they're going to buy something as well. And so this is all very, very valuable marketing data that you can use to actually sell your products or services. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people will reach out to those people, but you can actually use those individual data points to figure out what kind of ad campaign should be, where an ad campaign that you may run should actually go out to at the very minimum there before you do anything else, because this is, that's the most relevant display ad PPC campaign that you could run. In other words, outside of Google search ads, knowing the people who want already are telling the world that they're going to buy, it makes sense to focus on and targeting them first before anything else. They're giving you a free opportunity to see this. The only question is, are you going to capitalize on this data? So, respectively, this is the general flow of how this works, though. Physically, how you can target somebody that's saying that they're looking to buy a car. So if you sell cars, you can get out in front of that person in real time. User says that they're about to make a purchase. Again, i.e., I'm looking for a new car. For my family, what do you think I should buy? That's what they're saying this. You then are able to find that person. There's a tool that you can use if you're in a national niche, and there's a lot of stuff like that being said in your niche. Mention.com is one that I would recommend for actual social listening tools to find large lists of people, asking for advice or giving clues that the person's likely to buy something in your space very, very soon, so you can build lists. Otherwise, you can just do what most of the people that I've talked to in the past that have done it, which is to use the search function on Twitter, on Facebook to see what people are looking for this stuff. For hashtags is one way, but also just people asking a question. The search functionality on those sites is very good. Respectively, you find somebody though, you find the user ID of the Facebook user, and with that user ID, you can actually then target that individual user with an ad campaign. Now I made a video before, this is similar to targeting your competitors' customers. So let's say you had, I give an example on the video where I did this, Casper mattress, where we did this. We were an off-brand Casper mattress company, like one of those bed-in-a-boxes that you can buy that ship to your door for, a sleeping mattress. Like their foam mattress is what these ones that ship out like that to your doorstep are like. And we wanted to, anybody who is following Casper, which they may be a customer, but a lot of them are not, we would go through and we would follow Casper's fan page on Facebook. And then once you do that, which is the same thing, same way it works today, you can go under their page, under community in the navigation bar, there under their page. And then you can see who's followed them and who's liked their page. Within that, you can click on each one. It takes some work. And there's some tools out there that automate this process, or you could come up with a script to do it yourself to scrape all the people. But you click on each one, whether you're doing manual or automatically. You click on one, you view source code on the page, right? If you're using Google Chrome, all web browsers do this. You click view source, and then you look for user_ID, and then you'll find the user ID of that person. You can take that user ID. That user ID is used to power the Facebook campaign that will target that exact person later on. For Twitter, it's easier. All you got to know is the user's handle, their username, and with that username, you can target that user, that exact user on Twitter, just having their name and then using it within your ad campaign. Respectively, in either case, you create a list. So every time someone asks, they go on a list. That list gets imported to Twitter, to Facebook as a customer match list is what they're called. So you'll upload that customer match list to Facebook, to Twitter, and as each new person mentions that they're going to buy soon from your market, you'll update that list, which each of them allows you to update the list. I stand corrected. Facebook allows you to update that list. Twitter, you'll have to add new lists. But either way, if you have to add more than one list on Twitter, you just apply, like if you do a list for every day, you could apply yesterday's list and then today's list on an ad campaign that you would want to run and having an ad shown to those exact people. And then the main meat, if you will, that gets this to work is you have a free offer of some sort to garner the lead from those people. Now, I mentioned, even just in my last video I made, I said display advertising as a whole, display advertising, online display advertising, or online PPC display advertising is anything basically that's not search engine advertising. Google search, Bing search ads, anywhere else that you see ads or you can advertise is basically called or referred to as display advertising. Most people can't get display advertising to work because they can't come up with a good offer. You need a decent offer generally to get display ads to work, unless you're talking about remarketing and you've already got somebody qualified and who knows about you, which you go with an all different approach basically for that, because you're just closing the deal instead of having to get the user's attention. As people are scrolling down Facebook on their feed or Twitter, they're not there to buy something. So you are extremely lucky if you get any of their attention or time at all, and time enough to even go to your website. So, and this also applies if you're talking about running a banner ad on another website through Google Display Network or Taboola ads or whatever. You have to know what they want. Sometimes you can just make them give you their time by giving them information. Other times, giving them something like a free offer, a free gift certificate or something like that will be what you need to give them. But you can't just go out there, even if you just say, we sell, designer mailboxes. Here's 10% off. Do you want to buy? That's not good enough. You got to figure out how you're going to get that person's attention. What's going to make them stop what they're doing and go and seriously evaluate your product? And generally that comes with a free offer of some sort. You take them to a page which gives them that free thing, and then hopefully from there you can parlay that into, they'll eventually look at your sales offer. That's most display advertising in a nutshell, to get it to work. To take a totally cold person, warm them up by giving them something first, and then hopefully parlaying it into a future purchase, respectively. Or if sometimes you get them to buy a small thing, and then later on you can get them to buy a bigger thing. Some people do it like that. I don't very often. So anyway, that's the whole kind of mechanism. You use the free offer to get that person who says they're going to buy into your womb, if you will. That person that is going to buy, willing to take something free from you, so and ultimately buy from you. And with how expensive it is to run advertising to get somebody to buy, even though the great thing about this is the ads are so targeted, you can actually, instead of spending all that money on the ads, you can spend it on the free gimme you give them in order to make sure that they are attracted to you versus somebody else. You get them before somebody else gets them. So you can afford, so the cost per lead, in other words, so little basically in order to get somebody, that you can offer them a little extra in terms of what you're going to give them to get in the door or just to get their purchase in general. Most of the time, so it could be also, you're offering an additional, bonus with the purchase or whatever as a way to, get that person initially hooked in to actually want to click on your ad and get to a landing page. The thing about getting them to the landing page is you get them on a remarketing list, and you can have other ads follow them up for a period of time. And so it allows you to build up a list of people then that you are now able to have other ads cycle out for them. And as they're in that normal period of time where they're evaluating a purchase in your market, because you've identified them, first of all, you can market to them 100 more times with various approaches, and you'll hopefully eventually get them. But you need to have something substantial up front in order to get their attention right away. And a free offer is a great way to do it. Most of the people can't afford to give something decently expensive for free, but because these are so targeted, you have such a high click-through rate on your ads because you're not marketing to them unless they say they're going to buy from somebody in your space. Beef up your free offer, which gets the whole mechanism kind of working. So basically, it's people saying they're going to buy, you're going to target them. You can use the same mechanism to somebody, if you're in the printing industry, let's say you sell flyer printing and stuff, you could find people that follow your competitor's Facebook page, and then use the same mechanism to get those followers user IDs and then target them, and then have something where you'll say the first print's for free if you can show that you actually work with the competitor and then are willing to switch. First time, customers only, and then a way to get a loyal customer from your competitor to come over to you just by using the data Facebook has, and that person and your competitor's willingness to show you who their followers are by having a Facebook page to begin with. I just wanted to point out that there's dual uses for being able to advertise to a Facebook user ID that I use. I'm going to talk about this specifically in my next video about getting your competitor's loyal customer by offering them a free offer there, so that instead of going after anybody, why not going after your competitor's most loyal customers that already spend the most in your niche versus new customers where there are a lot of onesie, twosie sales. You can go after the best customers, the whales, if you will. Anyway, that's a whole side thing. Now, this is where this has worked before. I physically can tell you this has worked in the past and been tried to give you several examples here of how this works, why it should work for you. I will admit, maybe not work for every business, but it'll work for a good chunk of businesses. I mean, respectively, every customer, everything you sell, I guess, unless you're selling adult toys or something, people are going to talk about it on social media, and there lies the opportunity. So the first one is in the auto space, car dealership. So basically what they did is they were looking for keywords like test drive being the biggest one, where, of course, if you take a test drive, what are you going to do? You're going to share about it on social media, or hopefully they do, so we can see who is in the market for a car. You see the car dealerships all the time advertising. What do they do? Newspapers, TV ads to try to get people onto the lot, and they say, we have great prices, and that stuff's expensive. But why are that? Well, I can tell you why. Most people don't know this stuff, but the people that are already actively test driving, which they're about ready to make a purchase, why not go after just them themselves when they're admitting to all their friends constantly that they're about ready to make a purchase, so you can go after them. And with that, because they're that opportunity is so profitable as a whole, in that every time someone does that, 1 out of 3 times, after they announce they're going to, or announce they're doing a test drive, 1 out of 3 times they're going to buy in the future. You can offer more to get that person's attention and still have it pay off at the end of the day, which is why I really like this method. So what they did in this particular case is they said free dinner for test drive. So basically, you took a test drive. We're offering you, if you take a test drive with us, we know you're going to buy. We couldn't do this with other people because they would take the free dinner and they would just never buy. But we know you're serious about buying, so therefore, you come in and test drive with us, give us a shot at your business, we'll give you a free dinner. And so it's like people love free stuff. I remember all the time as a kid, we had a Dairy Queen in my hometown. And they would have a free like ice cream cone every year. They would close it all winter, and then in the spring they would open it up, and the whole thing would the parking lot's filled for like a 50-cent ice cream cone. And I've seen other similar stuff like that in the past. If you give somebody free food like that, they'll do anything. And of course, it may be a mixed crowd of type of people with money, without money. But the thing is, even rich people like free stuff. You give something for free, you will get their attention very, very well. So in that particular case, that was the ad. Drove them to a landing page where you had to fill out the contact form or call in order to actually get it. You had to do that first, of course. Those leads were fed to the sales department or the salesperson, and then they get them on the phone. They're like, have you ever taken any test drives before? Which I don't recommend saying, we saw you saying that you were going to get a test drive, so we targeted you. That's obviously kind of creepy. And then, obviously, if they haven't taken a test drive, you don't have to give them the free meal. But the whole point of all this is, that they said they took a test drive and are getting ready to buy a car, or they have like a 1 in 5 chance of basically becoming or getting a new car in the next like 2 to 3 weeks or whatever. That's every single person you're talking to. In terms of having to talk to all these people and some of them being tire kickers and some of them not, this is like as qualified as it gets. And then with that, you can offer a free dinner. In that particular case, it was like a steakhouse type place. So you're talking $25 to be able to get somebody in the door that's going to close out of 1 in 3 to 1 out of 5. I mean, this is nothing. They'll take them all day long. You couldn't do this otherwise with regular ads. If you offered the free, you offer anything for free in order to get to have a sales conversation, it's not profitable because there's so many people who want the free, going back to what I said before, that they'll just come in and waste your time to get the free thing. Timeshare places do this. They say, we'll give you a free plane ticket if you come in for a sales pitch, but they don't really give it to you because it's not profitable. They say you have to send this in and do this, and pretty soon you don't get it. And so it's like a bait and switch scam. So for what you do on the front end to narrow down the targeting to the point where if anybody comes in at all, it's going to have like 100 times return. You can give a little bit more to make sure more people overall will respond to your ad. And you only have like a couple weeks a lot of times, like in this case, or in other cases, to get that person's attention before they buy. You want to give them a free gimme like that so that when they see it, they're not going to ignore it. They're going to say, wow, I'm in the market for a car and I want a free steak dinner. Okay? And just because they're responding because of the steak dinner isn't going to screw up the close rates that much. Respectively, if they're going to buy a car, they're going to buy from 4 or 5, 3 or 4 different dealership makes. Like, what do you got? Toyota, Honda, GMC, Chevrolet. I mean, there's not that many. If they haven't came in and got a test drive from yours already, they can only pick one. Maybe they only have their heart set on one. I get it. But just by giving them a dinner, think about it from this angle too. You're half going to have to be interested in that car because you're going to come in and spend an hour at the dealership knowing you're going to get pitched to be able to get that dinner. You're still going to it's going to do some self-weeding out too. But anyway, that was that deal with that. So $20, $30 you have to give away worth of dinner but $15 a lead in order to get the form fills or the phone calls to come in. So super cheap, dirt cheap leads that come in off of this actual offer. So that's one example of what you can do. So people announcing what their situation is in terms of bragging is one avenue. Now, a whole other avenue is people who are looking for advice. This can work for all kinds of stuff. I had somebody that had a nightclub / bar venue. They would look for people that were typing in stuff like, what's a good club to go to? What's a good place to go clubbing? What's a decent bar? What's decent nightlife in Chicago? On and on. And this would have to be a pretty good sized city for this to work. I admit that. So if you're in a small town, sorry, this isn't going to really work. But there's a lot of people asking those type of questions, way more than you think once you start using the search functionality there on Facebook or Twitter if you want to go there too, which is also there. And if you're going to do one, you might as well do the other. Why not? This same thing could be done for golf courses. Anybody know what's a good golf course? On and on and on. Just about anybody can do this one. Respectively, what they did was it was a free drink when you mentioned the ad. Voucher code, and then there was a voucher code. This was in the exact one. Drink tonight. Use voucher code drink tonight. First time customers only. Okay. So what, in this particular case, if you were in this business, you could have an ad that says free drink when mentioning this ad, and voucher code. You could send the person to a landing page, and if you want their contact information so you could do follow-up advertising, you could say you have to give us your email address and we'll send you the voucher code. We've done this quite a few other times for other in different situations, so we could get their email address so you can do email marketing with them after, so that you don't have to give them the drink code. You could just say first drink free drink voucher code for first time customers at our nightclub, and then just click here or whatever, get to the landing page, free drink for new customers, whatever. Just enter your email address. We'll email you the code, and that's it. So there's a couple different ways you could technically do that for something like that. $12 a lead on that. So also ridiculously cheap when people are already, which obviously makes sense. In terms of an ad, outside of people looking to buy from you right now on Google search, what could you possibly hope for? Somebody that's already looking to say, I have money to spend. Who should I spend it with? And when you go in and say you're the nightclub and you say, hey, you should come in here, we'll give you a free drink. To me, that's kind of creepy in itself. I want to hear from other people that are not the business. When you come in, though, later on and you say, we're going to give you a free drink, if you're considering, it'll just seem randomly, spontaneously there for people. I'm going to be just fine with that. And I was going to go out anyway. And yes, somebody else said that they had another club that they recommended that I was going to go to, but maybe we should go over here, or maybe we should also go here because they're going to give me a free drink. And they're also going to give my friends a free drink, and I'm bringing in 4 other people, and they would have never came to you if they didn't have that ad pop up for them, basically. So there's another different situation where you can use social listening and the power of Facebook ads, Twitter ads, to be able to generate leads for people that are actively in real time looking for recommendations on where to go to or what to buy. The final example here, it's also auto related. And before I go there, I guess, in the nightclub example, sometimes I always still say if you can do search engine advertising, you always start there because it's the easiest thing. They're actively looking for what you sell. I can spend enough time to make sure my ad and landing page is better than my competition, so it's guaranteed going to be profitable, because that's what it takes to make money with Google search and Bing search ads, where they're looking to buy something now from me. And so, but with this nightclub example, people aren't looking on Google for nightclubs a lot, if you will. They're asking for their friends a lot where they should go. They're not just picking random ones, unless they're like new in town or a lot. Not always, but you get my point. So in a lot of markets, you don't have the luxury of just simply sitting at the top of Google for nightclubs Chicago. You actually have to get kind of creative. What am I going to do? You get one person to get the free drink. Now they're going to bring 5 other people, like I said. It all stemmed from just also listening for people, the other half of the people who find who to go with the first time by, that exact thing that, somebody's looking for a club. Also, people that are just typing in that they're mentioning they're going to go clubbing here. If you're going to go to the bar, go to our bar, we're going to give you the first drink for free just by mentioning this ad, or by entering your email. We'll send you a free discount code to get your first drink for free for everybody that's there. So it opens up, an avenue to get PPC to work where regular search engine advertising wouldn't work all that well for something like this. It would work. Still, search ads will almost always work to some degree, but it's just limited, is my point. Whereas something like with an auto body shop on this final example, the volume on people looking for an auto body shop is much higher, but even still then, it's still limited. You start out with Google search, you get everything you can there, there'll be a limit to what you can get, and then display ads have to fill the gap. And with display ads, it comes down to, more than anything, how can I find an audience to target that's so filled with paying customers or people willing to be customers that the price that I'm paying to get in front of them will always be worth it. And the broader you are, the less likely it is to be worth it, and the more saturated your audience with actual buyers it is, the easier it will be to make money. And so when you're going after people who type in hashtag wreck car, or I wrecked my car, cars wrecked, anything like that, then you've got a audience that's so saturated with buyers or soon to be buyers that you can't not make it work. Now there may be a limit to how many people are actually doing that, but for what's there, why not also take the opportunity for what it is, and then just add that as a layer to your overall PPC strategy, the types of traffic you have coming in. In this particular case, it was something like get free insurance quotes plus free gift certificate in May. So they were giving a certificate out for like a fast food place in this particular case. Of course, you can give more if the deal size is bigger. In this case, the margins are slim in this business. A $10 Chipotle gift certificate may be all you can afford to give, but still, what I've proven is you don't have to give away that much in order to get people's attention to click on that ad. Just saying free insurance quotes on the spot isn't going to cut it, because they know they can go to Google at any minute or any time and then go and find 3 numbers there. So if you're going to get them to stop what they're doing, dead stop, while they're scrolling down the news feed on Facebook or Twitter, and stop and click on your ad, you have to give them something. But you can afford to give them something because your audience is so densely populated with actual buyers that if you have to give them an extra $10 just to get them down there to your facility to get a quote from you, the math works out. This is marketing, and PPC is half being creative, half is just the math. What configurations of what can I give them? What can I reduce the price, whatever, and still have it be profitable? Not many people think about giving something for free that may be just totally unrelated as a way to get their ads to have a higher response rate. And how do I narrow down the targeting well enough, like we are with this, that if we gave them something for free that's cost $10, $20, $30, it's still worth it for us. And then we would then get a crap load of people that are in that super profitable audience to respond instead of just like a smidgen, basically. If you say any PPC ads that you have, if you actually say, if you have your offer, free ship, even if it's free shipping, we're offering you 10% off, whatever it is. If you say in May or whatever the month is, the response rate will be almost double. And this goes for Google search ads, basically any PPC ads online. Why? Because it builds urgency and perceived scarcity in your offer. So they did that there. And, so if you're doing this, I would recommend, and yes, it's more work because you have to constantly keep updating your landing page. Should always say what the offer is. And taking a step backwards here, social media landing pages for stuff similar to this and this, your offer should be very simple in your ad, what we're going to give you, what you're going to get. You take them to a landing page, and it's not a long landing page. It's like a page where you might have some testimonials down below if you scroll, but that's it. You have the offer that was on the ad. There's a little blank for them to enter their information. That's it. The offer should be good enough. That should be all you have to do anyway, and that will get 30% of people or so to actually convert, which should be your goal. And in this case, if you're going back to what I was saying before, if your ad says in May to get double the click-through on your ad that you would normally get, your landing page has to say in May too. Why? Because when people click on an ad and they get to a landing page, if they don't get a feel that whatever was said on the ad is going to be delivered in the landing page, even if they're slightly doubtful, because just by not saying what exactly was said was on the ad, whatever was on the ad wasn't said exactly as it is on the landing page too, they'll get skeptical and you'll lose some conversions. So you have to update your ad and landing page every month. And then you'll have to say in June or in July or whatever. You get my point. That's a little bit, we'll just call it edgy to keep doing that. But respectively, it is what it is. You added an actual time limit to your perceived offer that, basically it's going to show up and they're going to say, wow, I found the perfect ad at the perfect time. I wrecked my car and I have to get quotes anyway. They're going to give me a free Chipotle card by going into this place. I'm definitely going to do that. And oh, you know what? It's May. If I would have saw this any other time, I wouldn't have been so lucky. That's the whole thinking behind this. So anyway, that's what worked there. Now, the cost per lead was quite a bit higher here. This is also why you couldn't do anything more than a Chipotle gift card or whatever for like $10 because it was $27 a lead for that guy's particular campaign to get somebody to fill out the information and to be able to, in that particular case, they got their information. You sent the discount code to their email, like I was explaining. That was one variant you can do before. When they showed up, they didn't call them or anything. They didn't call their leads or wanted to try to do that. But when they showed up, they had an actual offer code, which they could say, and then they gave them the gift card there when they came in. So you can work your leads. The leads you do get, you can do email marketing afterwards. On your form, if your offer is good enough, you can get asked for their phone number. Automatically, when you ask for someone's phone number on a form, it usually cuts the response rate in about a third, in case you didn't know that. But if you get their phone number and your offer is good enough to get their phone number without your conversion rates going in the toilet, you can call them and then try to do basically what the car dealership did. So anyway, there's a lot of different ways to configure this. You can have, just mention this ad or give us your information, we'll send you the code, or enter this form and we'll contact you. There's some different options available for you. But yeah, that is a very interesting way to make money with PPC right there. Just about, even if you're doing e-commerce, respectively, people are looking for a way they like to feel like they've discovered stuff on their own. And if they were looking to get new tires on their vehicle and you sell tires online, by mentioning that you have a special discount this month for tires and having that ad show up for somebody who says that they were going to buy tires pretty soon because their tires need to be replaced, that right there is a really good opportunity for you and should be, obviously forever, as long as you keep updating your customer audience with once a day, once a week, with the people that are mentioning they need to replace their tires soon as the most relevant audience that you can target with display ads in general. So anyway, my next video is going to talk about, like I said, targeting your competitors' customers by finding their user IDs, by looking at the people who follow your competitors' Facebook pages as a way to snipe or poach their best customers by giving them a similar kind of free offer, free first offer, free print job, whatever you're doing, as a way to get that best customer who's going to be worth many thousands of dollars for you to ultimately try what you have, like it, try it again, and then you've got them for life after that point. I'm going to go through that method as well. It's very similar to this, as I mentioned. You can get customers, you can find people who are saying they're going to be a customer and approach people at that level. So we're going after actual customers that are already buyers in your market, and are repeat buyers from somebody else, and how they get them to come over to us, given that respectively, they're telling us they're revealing to us exactly where they are. We will come with an offer similar to what I gave you here to get them into our site, and get them to want to do business with us, because we are giving them something to get them to ultimately try us. I have a lot of other videos on this channel about other PPC money-making strategies as well. So if you want to make a lot of money with PPC, I highly recommend you check some of those other videos out. I also have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns the way that I build them here in order to guarantee our clients results. If you want to see kind of on a more step-by-step basis how to do things well with PPC and make some decent money, you should check that out. Or maybe more up your lane to see information laid out for you physically like that. If you have any questions about anything that I covered here about going after people mentioning on social media that they're in market for what you have to sell, leave me a comment down below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel within a day or two time typically to answer their questions. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I have another video that comes out, as I said, about going after competitors' customers using Facebook user ID on the next video, and that will come out in another day or two time. See you then.